The dark secrets of French royalty, hidden lives behind the palace walls. Welcome, seekers of forgotten truths, to another journey through the corridors of time. If you have not yet joined our community, we invite you to subscribe to the History Uncovered channel and ring the notification bell to never miss our explorations into history's most fascinating secrets. Today, we unveil the dark secrets of French royalty, hidden lives behind the palace walls. Prepare yourself for revelations that will transform everything you thought you knew about these legendary monarchs, and stay with us until the very end, for the most startling secrets await in the final moments. First, the secret chambers of power. Beneath the glittering chandeliers and painted ceilings of French palaces lay hidden rooms that no courtier dared mention. These chambers, accessible only through concealed doorways disguised as bookcases or wall panels, served purposes both practical and sinister. Within these secret spaces, kings conducted their most sensitive affairs of state away from prying ears and watchful eyes. Messengers arrived through underground passages, carrying dispatches too dangerous to pass through normal channels where spies lurked everywhere. The construction of these hidden rooms employed only the most trusted craftsmen, many of whom mysteriously disappeared after completing their work. Stone masons and carpenters were sworn to secrecy under penalty of death, their knowledge considered too dangerous to survive. Ancient blueprints, when they can be found at all, show only the public portions of these grand structures. The secret annexes were deliberately omitted, existing only in the memories of those few souls entrusted with their locations. Kings used these chambers to meet with individuals whose presence at court would have caused scandal or political upheaval. Foreign agents, disgraced nobles seeking redemption, and mysterious figures from distant lands all passed through these hidden corridors. The walls of these rooms were often lined with thick tapestries, not merely for decoration, but to muffle sound completely. Conversations held within could never escape to feed the endless gossip that circulated through palace halls. Some chambers contained ingenious mechanisms allowing the king to observe gatherings in adjacent rooms through tiny holes concealed in paintings. Royal eyes watched as courtiers plotted and schemed, believing themselves unobserved. Private staircases spiraled between floors, permitting monarchs to move unseen through their own residences like ghosts. Guards stationed at public doorways never knew when their sovereign had already departed through secret routes. Certain chambers served as treasure vaults, holding wealth and documents too sensitive for the royal treasury's official records. Gold seized from fallen enemies and compromising letters from foreign rulers rested in these hidden repositories. The existence of these spaces created an atmosphere of perpetual uncertainty among the nobility who served the crown. No one could ever be certain whether the walls themselves were listening to their whispered conversations. Even today, restoration workers occasionally discover previously unknown rooms behind ancient walls in former royal residences. Each discovery hints at mysteries still waiting to be uncovered beneath layers of plaster and time. Second, forbidden loves and hidden heirs. The hearts of kings beat with the same passions as common men, yet their romantic entanglements carried consequences that could reshape nations. Behind the arranged marriages that sealed political alliances, secret loves flourished in shadowed gardens and private apartments. Royal mistresses occupied an unofficial yet powerful position within the court hierarchy, sometimes wielding more influence than queens themselves. These women received estates, titles, and wealth beyond imagination, their children acknowledged though never legitimate. Hidden passages connected royal bedchambers to apartments prepared specifically for these unofficial companions throughout the palace grounds. Servants assigned to maintain these routes took oaths of silence, understanding that loose tongues meant swift execution. Children born from these unions presented delicate problems requiring creative solutions from royal administrators and trusted clergy members. Some were raised in distant provinces by loyal noble families who asked no questions and received generous compensation. Certain monarchs maintained elaborate networks of safe houses throughout Paris and beyond where they could conduct their affairs. Disguised as merchants or minor nobles, kings slipped away from their golden prisons to taste freedom's pleasures. The queens, confined by duty and expectation, often knew everything yet could say nothing about their husbands' wanderings. Their letters, those that survived destruction, reveal heartbreak masked by the formal language of royal correspondence. Some hidden heirs grew to adulthood never knowing their true parentage, while others were burdened with dangerous knowledge from childhood. The fate of these shadow children varied wildly depending on which monarch fathered them and what political circumstances prevailed. Convents served as convenient repositories for daughters whose existence might prove embarrassing to the crown's reputation or succession plans. Behind holy walls, princesses who could never be acknowledged prayed and waited for deaths that would free them. Occasionally, ambitious individuals attempted to use real or fabricated claims of royal blood to advance their positions within society. The consequences of such gambles ranged from spectacular success to quiet disappearance, depending entirely on the evidence they possessed. Love letters written in royal hands became weapons capable of destroying reputations or toppling governments if they reached wrong hands. Monarchs employed specialists whose sole duty was recovering or destroying such dangerous documents before they could cause harm. The true number of children fathered by French kings throughout the centuries remains unknown and likely unknowable to modern historians. What survives in archives represents only what escaped the fires that consumed countless embarrassing records. Third, royal obsessions and dark arts. Within the rationalist courts of France, monarchs secretly consulted practitioners of forbidden arts seeking knowledge beyond mortal understanding. Astrologers cast horoscopes that influenced decisions of war and peace, their celestial charts guiding royal destinies. Hidden laboratories occupied tower rooms where alchemists labored to transmute base metals into gold for royal treasuries eternally depleted. These seekers of the philosopher's stone received generous funding and comfortable accommodations in exchange for promises of eventual success. Fortune tellers and seers held audiences with kings desperate to glimpse what fate held in store for their dynasties. Prophecies delivered in candlelit chambers shaped anxieties and ambitions that would ripple through decades of French history. Some monarchs developed obsessions with collecting rare and forbidden manuscripts from across the known world and beyond. Libraries hidden within palace walls contained texts that the church had condemned, preserved secretly under royal protection. The pursuit of immortality consumed certain kings who employed physicians willing to experiment with dangerous treatments and potions. Mercury, gold dust, and substances we cannot name today passed royal lips in pursuit of eternal youth and vigor. Royal courts attracted a floating population of mystics, magicians, and charlatans who promised wonders in exchange for patronage. Distinguishing genuine practitioners of occult arts from clever fraudsters proved nearly impossible, even for sophisticated monarchs. Seances conducted in darkened chambers attempted to contact deceased predecessors for guidance on ruling the realm properly. Whether spirits truly spoke or courtiers merely told kings what they wished to hear remains a matter of speculation. Poisons and their antidotes fascinated monarchs who lived in constant fear of assassination by enemies both foreign and domestic. Royal collections included samples of deadly substances studied with morbid curiosity and practical paranoia alike. Dreams were analyzed and interpreted as messages from divine or demonic sources, their symbols decoded by specialists in such matters. A monarch's nightmare might delay a military campaign or accelerate a political marriage, depending on how advisors interpreted it. Curses and protective charms circulated through the highest levels of French society, purchased from practitioners who claimed ancient knowledge. Amulets worn beneath royal robes supposedly deflected evil intentions directed toward their wearers by jealous rivals. The church officially condemned such practices while privately knowing that many clergy participated in these forbidden consultations themselves. Bishops who publicly denounced superstition sometimes cast horoscopes privately for their royal patrons. Fourth, the masked intrigues of Versailles. The magnificent Palace of Versailles, that glittering monument to royal power, concealed intrigues as elaborate as its famous gardens. Within its mirrored halls, courtiers wore masks both literal and figurative, hiding true intentions behind practiced smiles. Elaborate protocols governing every aspect of court life served purposes beyond mere ceremony and the demonstration of status. These rituals created opportunities for private communication disguised as public performance, messages hidden within gestures understood only by initiates. The famous masked balls held at Versailles permitted behaviors that would be scandalous if faces remained visible to observers. Behind the anonymity of elaborate disguises, social boundaries dissolved and dangerous liaisons formed in shadowed alcoves. Spies employed by various factions infiltrated every level of palace service, from the highest chamberlains to the lowest kitchen workers. Information gathered through such networks could make or destroy careers, revealing secrets their holders believed perfectly safe. Royal favorites rose and fell with dizzying speed, their fates determined by whispered words in the right ears at crucial moments. A misinterpreted glance or an enemy's clever lie could transform yesterday's confidant into tomorrow's exile. Secret societies flourished within the court, their members bound by oaths and rituals borrowed from ancient traditions both real and invented. These brotherhoods provided networks of mutual support and channels for conspiracies against common enemies. Poison rumors swirled constantly through Versailles, with every unexplained death attributed to hidden enemies wielding deadly arts. Whether actual poisonings occurred as frequently as feared or paranoia simply ran rampant remains historically debated. Ladies of the court maintained their own networks of intelligence and influence operating parallel to those controlled by male courtiers. These feminine channels of power often proved more effective precisely because men underestimated their existence entirely. The king's own movements were tracked and analyzed by factions seeking advantages through proximity to royal attention and favor. Knowing when the monarch would pass through certain galleries or gardens could provide crucial opportunities for private words. Enormous sums changed hands in bribes, gambling debts, and payments for services both legitimate and otherwise throughout Versailles constantly. The economy of secrets and favors operated according to rules as complex as any financial market known today. Many who seemed to prosper at Versailles were actually trapped in desperate circumstances, maintaining appearances while drowning in debt. The glittering facade concealed countless personal tragedies unfolding behind closed doors throughout the palace. Fifth, downfall behind closed doors. The decline of French royal power began not on battlefields or in revolutionary streets, but in private moments of weakness. Behind closed doors, the decisions that would eventually doom the monarchy accumulated like drops filling an inevitable flood. Aging monarchs, their vitality fading, became increasingly dependent on advisors whose own agendas did not always align with France's interests. Manipulation of senescent kings by ambitious ministers planted seeds of resentment that would later bloom into rebellion. Financial secrets hidden from public knowledge revealed the true precariousness of royal accounts to those few trusted with the numbers. Debts accumulated through generations of warfare and extravagance created pressures that no amount of taxation could ultimately relieve. Health problems concealed from the court and public alike weakened kings at crucial moments when strong leadership was desperately needed. Illnesses that today would be easily treated robbed France of effective governance during critical historical transitions. Family conflicts over succession and inheritance tore at the unity that royal houses required to maintain their grip on power. Brothers plotted against brothers, sons against fathers, in struggles that weakened the institution they all claimed to serve. Madness, whether caused by disease, inbreeding, or simply the pressures of absolute power, touched certain monarchs with devastating consequences. Courts learned to work around incapacitated rulers while maintaining public fictions of royal competence and authority. The isolation of kings from ordinary life left them increasingly unable to understand the realm they supposedly governed completely. Surrounded by courtiers who told them only what they wished to hear, monarchs lost touch with realities outside palace walls. Secret correspondence captured by revolutionary forces later revealed the extent to which royal families had conspired with foreign powers against France. These documented betrayals confirmed suspicions that had circulated as rumors for generations among common people. Final attempts to preserve the monarchy through reform came too late, blocked by nobles defending privileges that doomed them alongside kings. The inability to change course, even when disaster loomed clearly visible, characterized the dynasty's last desperate years. Private moments of despair, recorded in diaries and letters later discovered by historians, humanized figures often reduced to symbols. Behind the crowns and ceremonies lived people facing impossible situations with all too human limitations and fears. The hidden history of French kings ultimately reveals not monsters, but flawed individuals wielding powers beyond any mortal's wisdom to exercise fairly. Understanding their private struggles illuminates both their failures and the tragic inevitability of absolute monarchy's eventual collapse. We have walked together through the secret passages of French history, uncovering truths that time and deliberate silence nearly erased forever. From hidden chambers of power to forbidden loves, from dark obsessions to the masked intrigues of Versailles, and finally to the private moments of decline, we have witnessed the humanity behind the crowns. These kings were not merely figures in textbooks, but living souls caught between duty and desire, power and vulnerability, public glory and private shadow. The history uncovered invites you to continue this journey of discovery with us. If these revelations have captivated your imagination, please show your support by liking this video, sharing your thoughts in the comments below, and subscribing to our channel so you never miss our explorations into history's most fascinating secrets. Your engagement helps us bring more hidden stories into the light. Until next time, keep questioning what history has chosen to remember and what it has tried to forget.